Welcome to Starseed Essence. Tonight we're exploring smart dust, not as a conspiracy, but as facts. Is smart dust the invisible internet? What if I told you that scientists have spent decades trying to create computers so small they could disappear into the environment? Tiny sensors, tiny little networks, millions of microscopic devices quietly collecting information. It sounds like science fiction, yet this technology has a real name, smart dust. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most misunderstood technologies on the internet. What is smart dust? Is it real or is it just conspiracy? Can it really monitor cities? Is it connected to nanotechnology? Could it ever become a part of our everyday lives? And where does legitimate science end and internet mythology begin? Let's explore. Where does smart dust come from? Many people think smart dust is something new. It isn't. It actually goes back to the 1990s. Researchers at University of California envisioned tiny autonomous computers no larger than grains of sand. Their goal wasn't surveillance, it was information. Imagine millions of tiny sensors across the forest, across crops, monitoring wildlife conditions, or embedded inside bridges, detecting any kind of structural damage for years before the collapse, or monitoring crops, helping farmers conserve water. This is what the original envision for smart dust is or was. What exactly is smart dust? Imagine your cell phone gets smaller and smaller and smaller, not just a little bit smaller, but so small you can't even see it with its naked eye. Each tiny device contains a sensor, a processor, memory, a wireless transmitter, a power source. Scientists call these tiny devices motes, but together they become something larger, like a network. How do they communicate? This is very fascinating. Each sensor talks to nearby sensors. Think of it like passing notes through an entire classroom. One little tiny smart dust sends the information, and the other little tiny smart dust collects it. Another receives it and then passes it onward. This is called the mesh network. The result? Thousands or even millions of tiny little computers acting like one giant nervous system. Where are these little tiny smart dust motes actually being used? Contrary to social media rumors, most smart dust isn't floating through the air. Real applications of smart dust include agriculture, factories, pipelines, power plants, bridges, hospitals, oil fields, environmental monitoring. Many cities, smart cities with this city dust, which we all are a part of, rely on dense sensor networks to measure traffic, air pollution, air quality, flooding, energy use, waste management. These systems form from these tiny little smart dust, form what we call the Internet of Things, or IoT. IO Smart cities. Now, let's talk about smart cities. Around the world, governments are building cities with infrastructures to communicate continuously. Traffic lights adjust automatically. Parking spaces report availability. Street lights dim when nobody is nearby. Water systems detect leaks. Power grids balance electricity demand. China has become one of the largest adopters of smart city technology, integrating AI, cameras, environmental sensors, and communications networks at scale. While nanotechnology researchers support some advanced materials and sensors, there may be conspiracy around smart dust, and some people may or may not be whistleblowers on these nanotechnologies being used to monitor us through walls, secretly monitor people through the walls of their house. The technology is impressive enough without adding claims that aren't supported by evidence. Can smart dust see through walls? Comment below. Do you believe smart dust could see through walls? The question appears everywhere online, all over the place. People are talking about this, and there's so much conspiracy around it. A man known as Cyrus A. Parsa wrote this beautiful book, and he is actually not with us anymore. He is one of the dead/missing scientists. He wrote letters. He was avid talking about artificial intelligence and the dangers of humanity and the crimes against humanity being created by these smart dusts and these nanotechnologies. Question appears everywhere online. The answer is more complicated. Smart dust itself cannot see through walls, though wall imaging is separate technology. It uses systems like ultra wide band radar. And how did that just pop up? Maybe by using the smart dust that's floating around. Millimeter wave radar. Sometimes terahertz imaging. Break down the word terahertz. Earth frequencies. These require sophisticated equipment, antennas, and processing, not microscopic dust particles. Research continues to improve these technologies. What about nanotechnology? Here's where the confusion begins. Nanotechnology is not smart dust. Nanotechnology means engineering materials at incredibly small scales, measured in billionths of a meter. Smart dust is generally much larger. Nanotechnology can make better sensors, better batteries, better coatings, better antennas. But smart dust itself is usually measured in micrometers or millimeters, not nanometers. Neutral dust. Now, here's where things become incredible. Scientists are developing something called neural dust. Neural dust. These are tiny implantable sensors, not for surveillance, supposedly, but medicine. Another person that actually talks about this is Sebrina Wallace. I will link her channel below. Researchers hope these microscopic devices could one day monitor nerve signals, inflammation, or other health data without larger implant electronics. Instead of batteries, some are powered by ultrasounds. This is one of the most exciting areas of bioengineering today. Science versus speculation. When I was researching smart dust online for credible links, you'll find two very different worlds. One is grounded in engineering, peer-reviewed research, and practical applications. The other includes claims about mind control, which we just had a hearing on, secret tracking through vaccines, microscopic cameras watching everyone. It's important to distinguish between both of those. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Curiosity is valuable, but so is careful evaluation of sources. Closing thoughts. Whether smart dust becomes as common as smartphones, maybe it is already, only time will tell. Perhaps future cities will quietly monitor their own bridges, roads, forests, hospitals, helping engineers prevent disasters before they happen. The technology is real. The future is still unfolding, and as always, stay curious, ask questions. And remember, sometimes the truth is just as fascinating as the fiction. Let's have a little engagement. I'm going to ask the audience some questions. Please comment below if you know any of these answers. If smart dust could improve healthcare by detecting diseases earlier, would you be comfortable with that technology? What if it exists now and we're just not being told? What if this is what's happening right now, right under our noses without us knowing? Yes, what if smart dust is monitoring your health? Why is nothing being done? I don't know. Where do you think the line should be drawn between public safety and personal privacy? What is the most surprising thing you've heard about smart dust today? Leave your thoughts, your comments, and we'd love to hear your perspective on this. If you enjoyed today's exploration, subscribe to Starseed Essence Media. I'm Eva, your host, and please like, share, subscribe, comment, engage. It helps the mission. How does China use nanotechnology for smart cities? Enhanced IoT sensors, nanoscale sensors, miniaturized sensors detect environmental pollutants, air quality, water contamination with high accuracy and low power, feeding real-time data into these systems. Drone-based surveillance integration. China and the U.S. and other countries have developed drones that use LiDAR, radar, and terahertz sensors through wall scans. So this is real deal. China, the U.S., and other countries have developed drones that use LiDAR, radar, and terahertz sensors through wall scans, operate with sheath materials, many of which rely on nanostructure to absorb light or radar, making them harder to detect. Potentially deploy nanosensor swarms that attach to buildings or enter vents, acting as remote sensory extensions. I work in a hospital. I wasn't told smart dust is being used. Do you work in a hospital? Do you know that smart dust is being used in your hospital to collect data? Well, there's evidence that that's actually happening. Yes, the capability nanotechnology enhances surveillance by enabling higher resolution imaging through walls, smaller, less detectable sensors, improved signal detection and processing for drones. Let's get some let's do some fact checks here. Fact check. Chinese research, let's see. Mosquito-sized nano drones. What does smart dust actually look like? This is supposedly, boop. This is okay. A sensor can be implanted in your body. So if a grain, there's sensors the size, a grain of sand that can actually be implanted into your body. Okay, here we go. The U.S. Department of Defense, DARPA, implantable neurodust enables precise wireless recording of nerve activity. DARPA neural dust research. Here we go. Boop. And this is in 2000. This is in August the 2nd, 2016. There it is. In 2016, therapeutic modulation of the activity of the body's peripheral nervous system, PNS, holds a world of potential for mitigating and treating disease and other health conditions. If researchers can figure out a feasible long-term mechanism for current prototypes are approximately very tiny. Implantable neurodust enables precise wireless recording of nerve activity. A minimal invasive stent trod shows potential neural. This is in 2014. Implantable neurodust enables precise. Hold on. Okay. Implantable neurodust enables precise wireless recording of nerve activity. August the 3rd, 2016. Over 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Long story short, this is not fiction. This is real deal. Smart dust is real. Thank you for watching. Namaste.